so excited to bring on an amazing, she's a Renaissance woman. She's a Renaissance babe is what she is. She's created such an amazing career. Like what bombshell blonde woman got an Emmy nomination for Stunt? She's the first woman ever in this category to be nominated for an Emmy. So she's a real trailblazer, super inspiring. And let's not waste a moment without her. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, someone who inspires me every single day, Miss Julie Michaels. Hi, my love.
Hi. I'm a little tired under the eyes. As you can see, we worked real late last night on How to Get Away with Murder, and it was marvelously fun. Yay.
See, look, she just jumps right in, drops the bomb of awesomeness. Like, who gets to come in and go, I was working on one of the biggest shows in the world, but you and your husband. You were on the set of How to Get Away with Murder. How long have you guys been working on that show?
This is our 4th season.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's truly an amazing cast and superior writing and just the loveliest of unsuppressive and very supportive people, and makes it all go really easily.
You know, I was thinking about you as I do, like pretty much every hour on the hour. You're like, you know, the news for me. It's 9:01. I'm thinking of Julie. It's 10:00. You just infuse everything you do with so much passion and love and creativity and you are fearless. And I love that everything you do it. You do it as a woman. You keep yourself beautiful. You will hang from a helicopter. You will fall 10 flights or down escalators. By the way, I can't go down an escalator without thinking of that scene from that show that you did where you fell down in a skirt. Because it wasn't green screen. You really did it. And you attack life so fearlessly. And I thought the only thing, I'm like, she's not afraid of anything. And I went, oh, I know what she's afraid of. The only thing that she's afraid of is anybody she knows or loves might be ill.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
And
I'm not as fearless as you think I am, though. Though I use fear as a motivator. You can use fear to either set you back.
We'll talk about that.
Or push you forward.
Talk about that. Tell me about how, because you recently spoke at the Ronald Reagan Library as a keynote speaker. And I went to it, and you got helicoptered into it, first of all. It's like you could have just shown up at the front door like anybody else.
Yeah.
But right? You made a statement that was on brand with your message of what you spoke about, which I thought was so genius. And people, you should all take note of that anything you're doing, bring your message into it in other creative ways. You know, how you show up. If you're having a party, you know, a theme of how you're dressing or how you're going to decorate. I mean, okay, your SEAL team party that you did at your house.
Yeah, we tried to create the environment of what it'd be like in the military in the 40s, bringing girls that were kind of waitresses and those kind of costumes. The music, we had photographs of all the cast in completely different environments and looking really fabulous. And then food from different countries where they might have been on tour in deployment. And even when you drove up and the valets got you out, it was always, they called them captain or sergeant, so that everybody got the idea what it'd be like to actually be in the military.
Wow. And you had the red, white, and blue roses everywhere.
Yep. Couldn't be more patriotic than here.
Oh, so now your background is so varied, and you come from beauty pageants to martial arts.
Yeah, I'm kind of one of those, the kind of people that I'm a queen of everything and a king of nothing. I can do enough or well enough to jive people into thinking I can do it, but I get very bored at one thing. So I like to learn about other things and incorporate that as much in my life as I can. I'm always itching to learn. I think if I could go to college every day, I probably would.
In this entertainment industry, as an actress, as a stunt woman, as a producer, it's very collaborative, right? You're
Sure.
not in a business that, you know, even though they're just hiring you, there's many hierarchies that you have to deal with. And which is the case in many businesses, but people sometimes think that the entertainment industry, it's just you're a lone wolf, you know, and you can do whatever you want. And it's not the case. You're collaborative, you're hired, and you have to, you know, you have to use your communication skills to, well, I don't want to say just to get what you want,
but yeah, no, it is get what I want. And that's what's best for the greater good of the show too. Because my inspiration is to make sure that A, everybody's safe, and B, we get the shot. So it's all about communication. Life is all about communication. If you can get an affinity going and get them to believe that you're there for the greater good of everyone, then people will wrap their arms around you and help you any way they can. I mean, there's definitely been instances where I've had to go toe to toe with people, but for the most part, if they understand that I'm there to take care of them and to support them, and that my job is to protect them, you know, then my job's easy.
An example of a story where you had to kind of get past your own fear of maybe what people would think or say to create your art, whether it was you were helping to do the stunt, to coordinate it, or as an actress, and you had to kind of push past something.
Well, I can't name the show because it's kind of still in the moment, but it is sometimes hard for people to look at me and say, oh, there's a stunt coordinator.
You think?
Yeah. So I try to use my communication skills as much as I can to encourage people to do the right thing on set. But because I sat on the board of SAG-AFTRA for many years and really fought for safety, not only for stunt performers, but for actors and even the crew, and for my producers, to protect my producers. I have had to learn to use my voice if I needed to. And an incident came up on a very big show, and I tried several different ways to resolve the issue so that it could be done safe, and it just wasn't happening. And I had to say, this is not acceptable in any manner, and it's not safe for the show. I can't protect my producers this way. And it resulted in me leaving the show.
Right. So integrity seems to be a bottom line for you, and safety.
The thing is that Errol, if I don't have my integrity, I don't have anything. If I'm not really working towards ethics, if I'm not willing to lose my job to stand up for safety or stand up what's right, then I have no business being there. Because the last thing I want to do is hurt somebody because I'm too scared to stand up and say no.
Right. Yeah, we see a lot of you don't want to step on someone's toes, and you know, in many industries people can get away with certain things like that, but in the area of action and people falling and going through fire and crashing in windows and cars having to skid, you can't kind of close your eyes and go, you know what, I don't want to bug them. You know, let them do
That's
it.
such a great point,
right?
Because, you know, most nice people go, I don't want to make a wave. But we tell people when they come on our set, it's not only your responsibility, it's your right to say something if you feel something isn't safe. And I'm going to hold you to that. The thing is that the way Pee Wee and I work is that it's a collaborative deal. Everybody has a voice. Use your voice. Even if you're wrong, you might bring up something that might give us an idea about something else. And in that effort, when everybody has a say, then everybody feels accepted and appreciated. And then all they want to do is succeed. You give somebody a voice to get it right, they're going to get it right.
Right. That's something. Tell me, when you work with, like, you know, young starting out artists, actors, stunt men, women, you
my favorite topic.
I
love new blood.
I love watching how you direct and foster and encourage new talent, and you bring in your motherliness, you bring in your Italianness, you bring in your experience.
Yeah, I hate that all the little guys call me mom.
Oh,
they do.
I know, they're really handsome dudes. I know. The way you have made people feel safe, because you, of all people, understand that when someone feels unsafe, unloved, small, suppressed, and it could be by anything. It could be someone going, "Oh, are you really going to do the take that way, or
Yeah.
you're going to say it that
Yeah.
way, or oh, is that your wardrobe, or oh, are you like?" And it could be in any profession, right? It's someone at work saying like, "Oh, wow, that's how you that's your signature for your email," or you know. Something that questions you, that makes you go inward, because anything that makes us go inward is never, it takes us out of present time, and things can get very dark back there, and we always tend to sometimes think the worst. So you're so good at perceiving that new blood on a set, new blood at a job might have some of that insecurity, and you've done such creative little communication cycles with them to bring them not only into present time, but to actually get them excited about creating in the future.
Working with Jimmy Schmitz, who is a consummate and brilliant actor. And I brought in a stunt double to do some pretty difficult driving. And I had the stunt double rehearse it and put it on film so that the producers can see and Jimmy could see. And as we got a little bit closer, I go, you know, if you want to do this, I'm okay with you trying. You want to try to do it? And you could see he wanted to, but he wasn't really sure. And so we did one that was kind of calm and easy. And I was like, that was awesome. Just, you know, you got this. If you can do it, don't worry about the stunt. Just do it. Just do it. If that's what you want, I'm here to support you. I'll set you up. You'll be fabulous. And, you know, the guy did every last shot. And it was not easy work. I can't tell you what it was because I can't give the storyline away. But when you watch the show, you'll see it's Jimmy Schmitz doing it. It is. It's him doing it. And he got a shitting grin on his face. And I was so proud of him. And that's one of the things that Pee-wee and I know, right? Pee-wee and I love to do. Like, Pee-wee got Ben McKenzie to jump building to building, 165 feet in the air. Now, I'm not even sure I would have done it. Because you're looking down the ground. There's no airbag. And but Pee-wee's, and I really try to just let people tell us, if you want to do it, great. If not, we'll have a stunt double for you. But if you want to do it, we'll set you up so you can do it. And
see, now there's the thing, we'll set you up, and that's the important thing. It's not just, oh, I think I can do it. Good, go do it. The professionalism, the reason that there are 2 Emmys behind your one on, you're flanked by 2 Emmys. Let's see one go a little bit there. So Emmy #1 for SouthLand for them, and Emmy #2. The reason you have those is because the setup that you do comes from decades of experience in safety.
It does.
So,
it really comes from the root of, we want what's best for the show. And what's best for the show is having people put in an environment where they're going to succeed. And they know they're worthy and wealthy in all their ethics. And it's just great when you see the light turn on in their eyes and they realize, I can do this. And sometimes this is simple stuff, and sometimes it's pretty complex stuff. But when you believe in someone, I know the best stuff I've ever done on camera was stuff I didn't know I could do until the coordinator said, oh, you easily can do this. And I was like, wow. And I jumped a BMW off the 105 freeway one time for the L word. And I remember saying to Pee-wee, are you sure I can do it? He was, oh, you totally can. And when we were in the safety meeting prior to, the director says, can you get it in 1? I said, sure, I can get it in 1. And then I walked away, and Court Hessler, God bless him, I love you, Court, but Court Hessler, who's one of the top coordinators in the world, one of my favorite men in the world, he walks over and he goes, never tell him you can do it in 1. And I said to him, unless you can. And then I remember walking away going, I have to. I've said I can do it. I now absolutely have to do it. And I jumped it off the freeway and down the embankment, I think 40 or 50 feet, head onto a K-rail, and did it in 1. But that was because somebody believed in me. They knew enough data about me and my personality and my talent and my experience to put them all together and align the stars. That's all I do. I take someone, I suss them out, I find out all their strengths, and I draw that map, and then I put them right in the center of it.
Wow. That's gold right there. That is a golden lesson for how you raise your kids, how you approach your marriage. I love it. How we approach our marriage. And obviously how you deal with every actor that comes by. Now let's, since we do have some, actors that watch this, you're in a lot of audition process stuff too.
Yeah.
Like you've been there for casting, and what is it that you want to be able to say to someone who is nervous? Like what?
I learned something a long time ago that I really, I try to implement with all my actors that are going in to read. I try to tell them to remember there's the solution to the problem. Being on the other side when we're casting, all I want to do is get it cast. I want to get the greatest person. I want to get it cast. I want to do as fast as I can because I got 40 to cast in this week. So you're a solution to me. So when you walk in the room, instead of going, I really want this part, I want this part so bad. No, no, no. What you want to do is be their solution. They need you. So if you walk in, it switches the mindset. It switches the way you feel about what you're doing. If a person wants to go to do something to help, they're always going to do it better than doing what would help themselves. So if you...
That it is true.
So
the
true.
nature of a man is that you find the best of a person when they're servicing someone
and
else.
That's
all their baggage.
That's exactly right. So just turn it around. Service the production company. Say, I'm gonna make your life so.
By the way, Carolyn Daniels is watching right now.
Hi, Carolyn, Miss America. My favorite Miss America.
But yes, you're saying to turn it around.
Turn it around.
Yep. Like jewel after jewel, which is why you're also called Jewels. You said to me before, Denise, just keep yourself looking good. Just when you go on camera, just make the effort. And, you know, and I am a bit of a beatnik, bohemic, I want to be very transparent, but at the same time, you could be transparent after you put a little bit of transparent powder on too. So I completely get your point. And when I look at some of my very successful girlfriend actresses too, like you, like Marisol Nichols, from Riverdale, right? Like when you,
oh my gosh,
always
the most beautiful woman on the planet.
The most beautiful woman. She was just always put together. That doesn't mean that you've got, a hat and tons of jewels, but just mascara, some good fun. And I just started, like, when you said that to me about a month ago, I started to kind of look at, and I'm like, oh, yeah. And then my friend Marla, we were texting about Walmart. And I said, oh, what I wouldn't give for like a Walmart here in Manhattan. Just sometimes you just want a place nearby that you can get everything. And she said, well, I was at the Walmart in Burbank and I saw Gwen Stefani and she was there with her kids in full makeup.
Of course.
At the Walmart, Gwen Stefani. And I'm like, okay, yeah. And in these days, we are very, cameras and visuals are a bit, you look so beautiful right now. That light, boom, freeze it right there. It is a big part of our life. And I feel that's, when a woman knows tools and tips to make the best look of herself, she will, number one, feel more confident, will be interested in going out to that party, will be interested to take that cute picture with their daughter or with the husband, to pop onto a video to talk about a coaching service they sell, or a video birthday card to someone who it's going to make their day. But if you just don't ever like the way you look and you don't make an effort, you'll never get to take advantage of this medium that is so beautiful.
Not even in medium, but just in life. I find that I am a lot more at ease and relaxed if I feel like I look good. And I did something really interesting recently. For the longest time, when I'd step on the set as a coordinator, I would man it down. And when I mean man it down, it'd be, my hair slicked back and very little makeup and more sweat clothes, because I wanted to be accepted as, as a force, right? And recently I was like, I don't need to do that anymore. I actually showed up kind of like this, with my butterflies on and my hair done and out, not in a ponytail. And I had, cute little shirt, like my little Desi design shirt, my favorite little designer.
She's such a great designer.
And I showed up on set and the producer looked at me and said, is that you? And I said, I think so. And she looked at me and she goes, wow. And what I realized was I don't have to be afraid to be feminine. Now, I've told you over and over, yes, when you're out, you should, when you look good, people respond to that. They like a beautiful flower. They like a gorgeous tree. They like a nice car. People are attracted to beauty. So when you know you look better, you act and participate better. And so do they.
Yeah. Yeah. It really, that's the nugget. That's what it comes down to.
Hi, Charlie.
And
hi, Stevie Paterni.
From having
I
think that Richard Reich said, I think that applies to guys too.
It does. No, it does, dudes. Totally does.
Yeah.
Carolyn, what story are you talking about?
What story is who talking about?
Carolyn said I'm supposed to talk about a Patrick Swayze story, but I don't know which one.
Oh,
because there's so many.
Tell us a Patrick Swayze story, because please, for people, this is Julie Michaels, who played the character of Denice.
Yes.
In Roadhouse.
I don't know. It's a billion. I think my favorite story.
Oh, wait, this gal Christy said, I apologized to my 11-year-old son the other day. I picked him up from school looking scary and not wearing any makeup. And he said, Mom, you don't look scary. I think you look scared. Wait, so I couldn't see it all. So tell us a Patrick story. What kind of a dear man? What was he like on the set?
He was dear. It was a really great statement. He and his wife are very dear. I was very young and my first big experience and very nervous. And wow. On my third or fourth week of shooting the show, my fiance woke me up in the middle of the night with a shotgun to my head and said, nobody's going to take you away from me, and tried to kill me. And I used my martial arts to kick him and get out from underneath the bed and ran out of the house, and got him on the phone when I reached a friend's house, and he said he was sorry and he killed himself. That was on a Sunday, and I had to do the striptease in the movie Roadhouse on that Monday. And I remember thinking, I can't not show up for work. I have to show up for work. And my manager was like, you got to get it together. And I walked into the makeup trailer, and by then everybody knew it was kind of a big story. And Patrick walked over to me and he put his hands in my hands and he said to me, if you can do this, then you really can prove you are an actress, because the most selfless thing you could do is give of yourself when it feels like there's not a lot to give. But if you can reach deep down as an actress and find your self-confidence enough to do this striptease, after that happened to you, you know you're a true actress. And I just flipped and said, I got to do it. And did it. And it was the moment I realized that I really could act. If I could go through something that was so horrific and turn it on and change it and fall into that world, and then I'll deal with the rest of the world when I'm done. And it was a very big lesson that he taught me. And it was the cheerleader in him that probably helped me become the cheerleader I am for my actors now, when they're feeling uncomfortable or scared. And I'll never forget it. And I did it.
It's true. You do. He lives on through you. Wow.
I think that's a really interesting thing. So,
wow.
He was a great man.
Very dear, delicious. Just, yeah. What an honor for you. Did you ever work with Mark Harmon?
I haven't.
I worked with him on. Yeah, it was a show called Reasonable Doubts with Marlene Matlin. Right. And Armand Mastriani directed that one. Yes, it wasn't Bill Delia. Bill Delia directed me in
We all
Exposure. We love Bill. By the way, Bill Delia is a director, works with Julie a lot, but his son, most of the young people will know Chris Delia.
Comedian extraordinaire.
saying, so cute. So Armand directed me in this episode of Reasonable Doubts. And I remembered, I was so excited to be on the set, right? And I had done Matlock, I had done Northern Exposure. I did Hell Comes to Frogtown. I had done Subspecies, right? So I had starred in films. So this was maybe my third guest star on TV. But I was just, it's always so exciting, right? Like you're on a set and it's like big lights and someone did your makeup. And well, Mark Harmon took he just was so enamored by my enthusiasm. And he said, like, he showed me where something was. Like he went out of his way. He like walked out of his makeup chair to show me something. Oh, thank you. And then later on, he saw me being excited talking to the sound guy about something, or when they were putting the thing on. And he said to me, he goes, wow, he goes, is this your first job? And he said it in such an endearing way that I felt like, wow, I think if he thinks it is, he's going to keep being nice to you. So I said, yes. Well, like I think I worked on the show for like 4 days. He just like, and it's, you know, one day I would love to see him and go, I have a tiny fib, but I only did it because like at the time I felt that was the only way this superstar would continue to be so nice to me, knowing that it was my new first experience, you know.
But I think part of your personality, because you always find the best in things. So right off the bat, you just made it a good thing and not made it, do I look like I don't know what I'm doing? It's my first day.
Right. And being so intensely interested in not just my script. I'm going to just hide in my room in my script, but really like, you know, I mean, I have gone on and directed and produced. And so I've always loved the whole process of it. I was never one that it was just get my makeup done, go to my trailer. You know, you make sure you know your lines, you know your character. But for me, a lot of times knowing my character sometimes got fleshed out by watching the set, watching the other scenes, because you're just a guest on it, you're in and out, you know? And of course, a TV show has a different feel than a movie, which has a different feel from a sitcom, right? And so I wanted to see how are the other actors, how loud are they delivering their lines? How, you know, it's different from theater. So I was always out there on the set, sucking it in.
I think you still do it now though, because that's the fun of. Can I tell you a story that reminds me of this? I have a very sweet friend, Christina Childress, who I've kind of taken under my wing, a young, fabulous actress. Recently, well, not recently, a couple of years ago, they put in place at SAG-AFTRA something called 1,000,000 Hours of Mentoring. And I subscribed up to it because I love the mentoring program. And I called How to Get Away with Murder and asked if she could come. She's part of this program with me. She could come on set just to watch and shadow and have another day of learning on set. And at the particular time, it was our mid-season finale, and all the scripts are very tight. And so they said, I'm sorry, we can't do it now, but another time. So a couple of weeks later, we were filming in a hospital, and it was kind of calm environment. It wasn't on set, so it wasn't a bunch of stuff that they would give away. So I called the producer back, and he happily said, sure, it'd be a great time. Go ahead and bring her. So I called her up and I said, can you be here in an hour? I'm leaving and you can come. And she's like, absolutely. And she just loves the show, loves Viola Davis. Who doesn't? And so I brought her along with me. And I sat her in a corner. I said, no.
Good for her for saying yes. Some people can get nervous or think that I've got to do some other stuff. So right on for her.
Yeah, right.
For taking advantage. You know, sometimes you might have to bail on someone else. You might have to, you know, but you get that opportunity. Don't go, you know.
Yeah. It's a really great point. It's like, you got to snag that tiger, even if it's growling at you. Snag it.
Yes.
So I brought her on set, put her in a corner, and I gave her the script. I said, memorize it. I'm going to quiz you on stuff. I want you to be off book. I want you to be ready. I want you to watch what's going on, and I'm going to test you. And I walked over to talk to the director, who is also our executive producer. And I had brought 2 guys in to play these guards or orderlies. And she looked at me and her eyes were almost crossed. I was like, what's going on? She's like, those guys are too big. They're too big. And I was like, okay. And so I I quick looked over and pointed to Christina, and I said, well, what about her? And she said, what about her? I said, she's a SAG-AFTRA member. She's got some stunt background. She goes, great, bring her on. So I went like this. I said, come over here. And she said, yes, ma'am. And I said, go with those 2 wardrobe people, you're getting dressed. And she's like, excuse me? And I said, is there a problem? She goes, nope. And off she went. And I know she was like, is this a prank? Did I just get pranked?
I love, like, that's where that dude in you, that tough, like, is there a problem? You know, like, you know when to be cuddly and mushy and emotional, and you know when to just like, okay, no, that balls comes out. All right, so she goes in. That is amazing.
Yeah. So we'll see the result of what happens. I can't tell you what happened, obviously, but just being in the right place at the right time and being able to implement something, and you know, the stars in her eyes. And when we were done, and we shot all night long, and we were done and we came back, you know, she had these big crocodile tears in her eyes, and she said, did that really happen? It was awesome.
And what's so beautiful is how much joy you take in that. As such a seasoned professional, in front of the camera, behind, like every part of the camera, you have embraced. And so it just makes your journey of giving someone gifts like that and prepping them for it just extra rewarding, you know?
Yeah, it's super great. I always thought that being an actress was the best thing in the world, but giving somebody a job fucking blows it out of the water. Sorry, it just does.
It's true. Right, and it comes from helping someone achieve their goals, helping someone have that experience that they have worked hard for.
Like our vets. You know what? There's nothing better than, sorry, my screen just, gotta get rid of this. There's nothing better than, I can't get rid of this. I don't know how to get rid of this guy. There it is. Calling a vet and saying, hey, you want to come to work? We have hired.
Oh, a vet, as in a veteran.
Yeah.
Yes. Because you've been doing that a lot on SEAL Team.
It's the greatest thing in the world. Here they've done all this work and have all this great experience, and then you call them up and say, hey, you want to get shot at and not die? And it's like, yeah, yes, ma'am. And it's just, it's one thing to give somebody a job, but to give a veteran a job, it's just what Pee Wee and I signed on for when we did the show, was to make a difference in their lives and bring these guys in. And, you know, they're perfect because they're perfect. And then just teach them the business. And they've learned it so fast and with such ethics and such integrity. And it's just, you know, I think we've almost got almost 100, at least probably 200 man days, and at least 100 guys we've brought in so far. And it's,
wow. Given jobs.
Yep,
given jobs.
Yep. Can you drive that Humvee? Yes, ma'am, I can. Can you fast rope out that helicopter? Yes, ma'am, I can. It's awesome.
Well, I love your life. I love seeing pictures of you out there with your boys, whether they call you mama or not, who cares? They're gorgeous.
They're gorgeous.
You know, you have your coffee at time, you know, you get up early, you have your own moment. And I'm saying this because I've been to your home and I see how you, you know, how you keep your family time as precious as you can, but because you love your work so much, you will do it 24/7 if need be.
We do. We do.
Yeah.
We're in a very rare situation where we can talk pretty much 24/7, which the more you communicate, you realize the better everything's going to be. So because we're virtually together 24/7, even in the middle of the night, we'll wake up. Do we think about that? Do we suss that one out? Do we remember that? Okay. And every room is a suss room, and we do it 24/7. And sometimes it's hard to turn off. Sometimes it's hard to relax. It's we haven't really had a vacation. We're trying to plan a 25th wedding anniversary vacation, and it's like, okay, that means we actually have to turn off the work dial. Click. So, and our son was like, you guys never take us on a vacation. So it makes it difficult, but we're just so blessed to do what we do, to hire people, to have these great shows and these great producers, and do everything we can to create great energy and great television. And we just, you know, we want to ride the ride as long as we can, and make people smile as often as possible.
You spoke at the Ronald Reagan Library, and they helicoptered you in, and you made this grand entrance,
In heels
not for
as
the
well.
sake of, oh, tell me.
In heels as well, little Eddie Izzard.
In heels.
I stood on the platform in 5-inch stiletto heels and this big long coat.
Right, like,
it was fun.
A being, a person, a spirit is as good as they can create an effect on someone else. And you are, and obviously you're a better person if you create good, uplifting effects. And you do that so well. And at the end, and I don't remember the words of it because I have a brain fog.
Your job.
Yeah.
I tried to just make it as simple as possible. Whatever your job is at the moment, do the best of your ability. If it's flipping burgers at McDonald's, be so great at it that they make you manager. If you're on a film set and you're an extra in the background, be the best damn extra you can be. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Where you're supposed to be, because people see that and they want to immediately cast you higher and higher. So whatever job you do the best job you can do. Get the job done. Get it done. Don't complain about it. Don't stress on it. Just get it done. And the more that you do that, the higher you will go, because people want people who can get it done. I
love you very much.
Thank you for having me on and not being too worried that I've only had 2 hours sleep.
No, because you'll always find the best light, and you're using my fun face cream, and I love you for purchasing it and glowing.
But I'm really digging it. My face is very happy right now.
A happy face is a happy face. That's why it's in your face. Okay, my love. Have a beautiful weekend, and bye, baby. And I'm glad I got to give just a tiny little piece of her to you guys.